A slice of life anime about three high school girls, one having very large breasts, talking about stuff like nipples, periods, and condoms. And somehow, it really works. Please Tell Me Galko-chan is a 2016 slice-of-life comedy short-form anime series based on the manga written by Kenya Suzuki.
The anime follows the everyday lives of three high school friends, Galko, Otako, and Yojo. Galko is a slightly foul-mouthed gyaru, but is good-natured at heart. Otako is a girl who sits in the corner of the classroom, but for some reason is good friends with Galko. And Yojo is an airheaded girl who is super rich. In the middle of classes and during breaks, the girls like to engage in conversations about topics pertaining to their bodily functions.
And while at first glance this just looks like a normal slice-of-life anime with shameless fan service, it's actually a very mature look at conversations that high school girls have with each other. On to the positives. First is how enjoyable not only the three main characters are, but the side characters as well. Each of our three main girls have very strong personalities, but also has complexity to them.
They interact well with each other, and you can easily tell that the three of them are close friends. The side characters, those being the rest of the students in the class, are enjoyable as well. As each episode goes on, we get more and more familiar with each of the members of the classroom. I even found myself enjoying the three pervy boys that always try to listen in on our female leads' conversations. They aren't creepy like lots of pervy boys in slice-of-life shows can be. They're just curious boys. And that's all. I also really like how the topics that the girls talked about were topics that usually aren't mentioned in anime. Slice of life shows have a rep for just being about young girls sitting around and talking about random shit. But this anime is different because of how sexual and raunchy the stuff that they talk about can be. The anime does not hold back with these conversations and is very mature about it. Half of the things that they talk about is debunking outdated rumors about the female body, like how massaging your breasts will make them bigger, or about how the hymen breaking is a sign of a girl losing her virginity. These topics are fun and engaging to listen to. The dialogue and characterization in these moments are refreshingly realistic, and that just makes it all the better.
Something that I was worried about was the possibility of fan service centering around Galko because of the size of her breasts. However, I was surprised to find that there really wasn't that much of it. Oh, don't get me wrong, there's fan service here, but it's so minimum that it becomes unnoticeable at times.
It only usually happens when the boys in the class are googling over Galko. Hell, there was an entire scene of the girls at the pool and the locker room changing, but at the same time, they are also talking about shaving armpit and pubic hair. It's a really nice contrast, and it made these small fan service moments easy to get through.
And finally, my favorite thing about Please Tell Me Galko-chan is how it features characters that break away from stereotypes in major ways. Small examples of this include characters like Otako and Ojo.
Otako seems to be a quiet bookworm, but she can get jealous quite easily and is always the one to start up the suggestive topics with Galko and Ojo. Ojo is a proper lady from a rich family, but is also kind of an airhead and very blunt about sexual things.
There are examples of this breaking away of stereotypes throughout most of the characters in the class as well. My favorite examples of this being the breaking of stereotypes of characters Galko and Nikuko.
Because of her fashion, her heavy makeup, and her sometimes tanned skin, Galko is just thought of as a dumb gyaru, someone who fools around with men and doesn't care about anyone but herself. But Galko couldn't be more of the opposite. She is one of the most kindest and most caring person that you'll ever meet. She always tries to help the people around her, friends and strangers alike. She's also very shy and sensitive when it comes to things like kissing and sex.
The anime also always takes the opportunity to stray away from misconceptions that people have about Galko.
My favorite one, for example, is how Galko always comes to class late and sleeps through the first period, so people just assume that she's always out late at night partying and spending the night with different men. But as the day goes on, Galko wakes up and becomes very engaged in class, leading Otako to believe that she just isn't a morning person.
This breaking away of stereotypes and misconception about someone like Galko makes her a very strong female protagonist. However, this pales in comparison to the character of Nikuko.
Nikuko is a large girl with breasts that are even bigger than Galko's. Now, in any other anime, a character like this would only be used as comic relief. An example of this is Hanako Otani from Persona 4 the animation. This character is depicted as aloof and a little weird. The character is mostly used for comic relief, and there's nothing about her outside of this. There's also the Japanese version of Kaiseta Numa from Kiss Him Not Me, where in her large form she has a deep and goofy voice, and in her thin form she has a light and natural sounding voice.
Which is one of the reasons why I like the English dub of the anime more, as in this version, Saranuma has the same exact voice in both of her forms. Good on you, Funimation.
Naikuko could not be more the opposite of this. For one thing, she's perhaps one of the most athletic characters in the class, people referring to her as Sonic Meat because of her surprising quickness, a nickname that she actually enjoys. She also happens to be very popular with the boys in the class. You go, girl.
Because of this, I found Naikuko to be my favorite character in the entire anime. Now, if I did have any negatives with this anime, it would honestly just be nitpicks.
For example, I found the animation and music to just be okay, but as this anime is just a short form series with each episode being about 7.5 minutes long, that kind of makes sense. I can also see some people not enjoying all of the explicit talks and small doses of fan service.
It didn't bother me, but I'm sure it can for some people. In the end, Please Tell Me Galko-chan is a surprisingly mature anime that features sharp jokes about topics that usually aren't covered in anime. It stars fun and enjoyable characters whose complexity breaks different stereotypes. Not to mention, it's a rare sex comedy for female audiences, and that in itself is pretty amazing. This is an anime that everyone should watch, and considering the fact that each of the 12 episodes is only about 7.5 minutes long with a 28-minute OVA, you can get through this anime in a solid 2 hours, and that's exactly what I did. And I want so much more of this anime because of it. I'm going to give Please Tell Me Galko-chan an A-. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you wish to see more, and as always, comment on any anime that you'd like to see me review. Catch you later.